Hello and welcome to the MCAT Science Review video giving a brief history of neuropsychology. My name is Brad Ackerson and I hope you're ready to take a brief trip back in time. In the 19th century, researchers began investigating the relationship between physiology and brain behavior. This inevitably led to a deeper understanding of neuroanatomy and the brain's function. This video will outline the key steps that were taken to lay the groundwork for modern-day neuroscience. We will begin with phrenology, extirpation, functionalism and functional impairments, and finish with a brief history of nerve impulses and synapses. Our learning goal for this video is to link historical developments in neuropsychology with their discoverers and see how they prepared the way for modern theories. Our learning goal will enable us to answer MCAT-style questions such as this one about Paul Broca's importance in the field of neuropsychology. Let the fun begin! Our first scientist is Franz Gall. He believed that brain anatomy was directly responsible for behavior, intellect, and even personality. This led him to the popular theory that he called phrenology. Basically, if a certain trait was well developed, that part of the brain would enlarge and push out against the skull. This would create a bump, and these bumps could be measured and felt to determine psychological strengths and weaknesses. As seen here, complex maps were used to distinguish one trait from another. This was proven to be false, but it paved the way for the neuropsychology bandwagon. Next came Pierre Florin, who was the first person to study the major areas of the brain and their function. He did so by use of extirpation, also known as ablation, in which certain major areas are removed and the consequences are observed. Don't worry, he did not use human subjects. As shown here, he would remove the area, in this case the cerebellum, and attribute any consequences in behavior to that area of the brain. Conclusion? Each area does indeed have specific functions. We will now talk about two more important pioneers in the field of neuropsychology. William James and John Dewey helped develop the theory of functionalism. James was primarily concerned with how the brain adapts to the environment, and Dewey focused on the adaptation of the organism as a whole. The theory of functionalism relates physiology to environmental adaptation. An observable example of this is the difference between organisms living in cold and warm climates. In the tundra, physiological changes allow organisms to conserve as much heat as possible, while in the desert, organisms adapt to release heat and energy. Psychologically, we can think of children who, as they grow into adults, may be more or less trusting of people depending on how they were treated. Their level of trust is an adaptation. Note, this theory is different from the functionalism found in sociology, which investigates how the parts of society contribute to the whole. Our next neuropsychologist, Broca, was the first to successfully link specific deficits to specific brain lesions. He first did so with a man unable to talk, discovering post-mortem a lesion in a specific area of the brain now known as Broca's area. Modern neuroscience has proven Broca to be correct, and Broca's area is a major language center in the brain. Continuing through history, Helmholtz was the first to successfully measure the speed of a nerve impulse. This paved the way for a more natural sciences approach to the study of the brain, and further research into action potentials, neurotransmitters, and synapses. Our last neuropsychologist is Sir Charles Sherrington, who was the first to infer the existence of synapses. Synapses are the space used between two neurons for communication, for example, the space between the axon and the dendrite shown here. Amazingly, most of his conclusions have managed to stand the test of time. Let's see how our history lesson could be tested on the MCAT. Answer this question about Broca. The correct answer is C. If you didn't know the answer, don't panic. Some MCAT questions will be simple recall. Please feel free to go back and watch this video as much as necessary. Here are the main things to learn from this video. Phrenology was the idea that developed traits lead to readable bumps on the skull. While an important part of history, phrenology was eventually proven to be wrong. Extirpation involves removing brain areas and observing psychological differences. Functionalism deals with adapting to the environment, and functional impairments are changes in behavior due to specific brain lesions. The discovery of nerve impulses led psychology to a field of natural sciences, and synapses further proved the relationship between physiology and psychology. As Shakespeare said, what's past is prologue. I guess he forgot to mention that the past is also testable on the MCAT. So, make sure that you understand these key theories and innovations in the history of neuropsychology, and you will be prepared and confident on test day. Best of luck!